Howdy folks, in today's video lesson, let's learn more vocabulary with the late Christopher Hitchens. I also hope you get a chance to check out the more formal definitions with plenty of example sentences in the description. Let's do this.
Well, I'm not trying to be gallant, believe me.
Gallantry becomes you, Christopher.
Okay, let's talk about the word gallant. Gallant is used to describe a man who is attentive to the needs of women. Another word that we use a lot in English is chivalrous. And sometimes people jokingly say chivalry is dead, that men no longer respect women. Anyways, Christopher Hitchens is making a joke that disarms everyone. So he says, I'm not trying to be that heroic man. I'm not trying to be gallant here.
Well, I'm getting on, you see, a bit. And indeed, my decade was, as must be only too painfully obvious, the 60s, when feminism began. And I remember being present at
It
some of
didn't
this.
begin in the
Well,
60s. It began about 1790.
I perfectly well. I know, even Mary Wollstonecraft.
Good.
Yes, I know that. But for people around this table, I think it could be said that's when it began.
Yeah.
So you're allowed my
Please, your point is.
yes. What I remember was violently resisting, all of us, different ways, the idea that the university could be in loco parentis, as it were.
Okay, let's talk about that idea. He uses a phrase which is in loco parentis. What does that mean? It means in place of the parents. So he says that we all resisted this idea that the university could play the role of the parents, right? So the university was trying to play the role of the parents looking after the students, and we violently resisted this idea.
So the university would play the role of your
Play your
parents.
Yeah.
And if you had a beef against another student of any kind, it was considered kind of babyish to want to go to the dean the entire time and complain about your feelings.
Okay, let's talk about the idiom to have a beef with someone, which means to have an ongoing disagreement or conflict with someone. So he says that if you had a beef with another student, it was considered babyish, immature to go to the dean, to escalate the matter and talk about your feelings.
But now it seems to me that not just on sexual matters, but on quite a lot of other things lumped under the heading of correctitude,
Now let's talk about lumped under the heading of correctitude. Correctitude means correctness, but with a little difference there. It is conscious correctness. Now he is using the term under the heading, lumped under the heading, lumped under that umbrella term, correctitude, that we have to make a conscious effort to behave properly and correctly.
one in the university seems to want to have more authority over themselves, to have more complaints procedures, to have more therapy and more litigation. And I would say, for heaven's sake, there's enough of all that in the wider society as it is. And you can't justify this by reference to microorganisms, I'm sorry to say. It's not viruses that are making people behave this way. It's a regression to infantilism.
Okay, we're going to end today's lesson with the term regression to infantilism. Okay, so infantilism, it conjures up, it invokes the image of an infant. So when he says it is regression to infantilism, he is suggesting that we're going back to acting like babies, to acting like immature people. Let's pronounce it together, infantilism, infantilism. So the stress is different from the noun, which is infant. This one is infantilism. Regression means going back to. So his argument is that all this litigation and authority intervention is completely unnecessary. I hope you've learned a word or two and enjoyed Christopher Hitchens' sense of humor as well.